Good morning. I'd like to talk to you guys about effective group work in an online setting today. I know that it's just a few weeks left until the end of the semester. I know that spring break is starting next week, but still I think that you will find that this little mini lecture here will be beneficial, and the skills that you learn in it will be beneficial to you not just for this class, but for the rest of your organizational life or any kind of group work that you're going to be doing. The next big project you're going to be working on for class, in addition to the discussion forums and the tests, is the group case study project. This mini lecture will give you some guidance on the reason group work, especially online group work, is important, on the assignment itself, and on the ways you can make it easier for your group to communicate effectively. When you can do that, you'll complete the project with a minimum of fuss and a maximum of success. So first, let's talk about what you want out of this project. For most of you, the answer is you want an A. That is exactly what I want you to have. To get that, let's talk about what I want for you to get from this project. I want for you to learn how to analyze organizational communication and how to work effectively in an online group. Good teamwork is really less about a meeting of the minds than it is about a meeting of interests. Your interests are to get a good grade and hopefully to learn about organizational communication. My interests are for you to assess the case study, solve the problems, and learn good asynchronous group work skills you'll need in an increasingly technology-driven world. The best way to meld those interests is for me to clearly explain the assignment and give you clear instructions on the best ways to work in online groups. That's exactly what the purpose of this is. That way, you learn how to do it and you have the best shot at acing the assignment. Okay, so let's talk about why group work is important. Research shows that remote work is an increasingly important part of our society. According to globalworkplaceanalytics.com, the number of employees telecommuting continues to rise year by year. The Society for Human Resource Management found in a 2010 study that 22% of organizations expected the number of employees who telecommute, now referred to as working virtually, to increase over the 12 months following the survey. 76% expected that it would remain the same. Only 3% expected it to decrease. Not only is the pool of people who work online growing, employees who work that way tend to be more engaged and more productive than their traditional counterparts, according to an article in the Harvard Business Review that you see here. Given the increasing importance in the working world, if you have virtual team skills and experience, you're in a better position whether you're looking for a job or whether you're looking to increase your value at your current job. So what are the skills that make virtual teams successful? In the 2013 Harvard Business Review article, Making Virtual Teams Work, author Michael Watkins gathered tips from contributors on a LinkedIn forum for best practices in virtual teamwork. So here is how you make virtual teams work. Here's your team. You're not in the same place. You can't all get together in the same room. So how do you do it? If possible, get the team together early on. Sometimes you can do an initial meeting. If you can, face-to-face communication is an excellent way to build relationships and foster trust between and among group members, which is an important part of team building and effective teamwork. When that isn't possible, as it won't be for many of you, there are ways to build a team virtually. We will touch on some of those in a little bit. The second thing is to clarify tasks and processes, not just goals and roles. Teams are composed of members who have roles in helping the team to function. They also have clear goals. In virtual teams, just like in traditional teams, effective teams go beyond those basics to make sure team members have and understand specific tasks. The group members also come to a consensus on the best way to accomplish those tasks. So what does this mean for you? You need to assign specific tasks to group members and agree on how those will be accomplished. Set timelines, set methods of contact. This makes the process much easier. Number 3, commit to a communication charter. You don't have to be nearly this formal about it. There doesn't have to be this written document, but it will pay off if your group agrees on a method and a timeline for contact during the project. Since everyone is in a different location and on a different schedule, especially this week, the more you can formalize at the beginning and stick to it, the better off you are. Number 4, use the best communication technologies. For you, this means use the best and most effective means of communicating that you have available to your team. I'll post forums here on Moodle for each group, but your team might prefer Skype, texting, Facebook, instant messages, conference calls, or some other method. The method doesn't matter as long as it works for your team. Number 5, build a team with rhythm. This means being regular about working together, even when you're not together. Set a regular time for calls, and if you're working across time zones, rotate the times so one person's not always the one up in the middle of the night. I don't think this is an issue for any of you in this class, but it might be someday. Have some type of agenda or plan for each meeting and stick to it. Have a start and end time and stick to that. Respect each other's time. Everyone is busy, but everyone wants to work together on the project. Number 6, agree on a shared language. Again, there are no cross-cultural groups in here, but it might be a skill you'll need to take into account someday. For now, think of cross-cultural groups as people from the same basic geographic area, but who still might be different from you. Their values and beliefs might be different. Be respectful of differences. You might be surprised what you can learn from them. Number 7, create a virtual water cooler. This means the team should have an area to just hang out in, where business does not have to be the primary subject. You guys don't have to have that. You have lives, you have other things, and you probably have a water cooler of your own. Regardless, your team should connect as individuals, because doing that makes the team more cohesive and more effective. Don't be afraid to ask about each other's families or jobs or life outside of class. Connections make the team stronger. Number 8, clarify and track commitments. Create a way to keep team members accountable for the work they've committed to do. You could have a post to track this on the Moodle forum or a Google Docs spreadsheet. Whatever way you choose to do it, having something written down keeps everyone accountable and helps keep team members focused on their part of the task. Number 9, foster shared leadership. The most effective teams exhibit leadership behaviors in every team member, not just the formal leadership roles. Each team member needs to share ownership for the team's success. And finally, number 10, don't forget the one-to-ones. In the business world, this reminds leaders to coach and manage each member of their team. That connection is important to mentor team members and to keep the entire team motivated and focused on a unified vision. For you, just remember that you're not the only one on your team, and stay focused on helping the team finish the project successfully. Now, let's touch for a moment on the idea of virtual team building. It's easier for face-to-face teams to build camaraderie because they're in the same physical space. They have the nonverbal cues that make interpersonal communication easier and more certain. Virtual groups don't have that advantage. In the Harvard Business Review, Keith Ferrazzi notes that teamwork in forming groups is an essential part of the human condition. Teams are not a collection of people or individuals doing their own individual work. They are a unified group with a single purpose. To achieve that type of cohesion, group members must form connections with each other. Ferrazzi suggests virtual group members do this by limiting other activities while doing group activities. This means no multitasking. Focus on group interaction while you're doing it. Don't be texting, don't be doing other things at the same time. Focus on the project. The second way to build a cohesive virtual team, or one of the second tips would be to be candid with each other. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Group members should praise those who will speak their minds because they help the group avoid groupthink. Don't just agree. Really think the problem through, and don't be afraid to say what your viewpoint is. However, keep disagreement respectful. And if you're interacting in a mediated venue, one without nonverbal cues, be clear about your intentions. We have to remember this because humor and sarcasm aren't always obvious in a mediated communication environment. It lacks the nonverbal cues that might tell somebody the comment is meant as humor or sarcasm. They might just be offended instead of laughing, and that can kill a group cohesion. So when the group connects as individuals connecting to individuals, there is a much greater likelihood of success in the group's work. So next, Let's look at the assignment you'll be working on for the next couple of weeks. It's a group case study assignment. You will be looking at a problem in the Dennison Organization. They have issues, which you'll see clearly enough once you read the case study. Your task is to analyze the problem using what you know about group work, using what you know about the way individuals are organized in organizations, what you know about communication networks, organizational culture, organizational theory. In short, everything that you know from what you studied so far in the class. So imagine that you are working for this company to solve a problem. You're an outside communication consultant, and this is the process for that. It starts with what some experts call a problem mess, which is often an adequate and kind of funny description of organizational problems. They're not usually the result of just one thing. So you have to figure out how to solve things. The first thing you need to do is define the problem in specific terms that demonstrate your knowledge, for purposes of this class, of the class material. I'll give you a hint. It is not just one guy's fault. So don't oversimplify. The problem is almost always more complex than that. But you have to have a clear idea of what you're looking at in order to be able to address the problem. Okay, the second step is to analyze the issues and the context surrounding the problem. What is the situation that you're looking at? What are the causes? Think about those organizational theories, think about the organizational communication, the management perspectives. Look at all of these as different lenses that you are using to look at the same problem. Each of the lenses will shed slightly different lights on the issue and give you a more complete picture. The third step is to design a solution. Your solution must address the most important causes of the problems Dennison is having. How would you solve them? You need to come up with some kind of solution that is practical, and you need to detail how that would work. Fourth is the intervention step. If you could implement your proposed solution, what would happen? What steps might come next from there? Don't make up a story here. What I'm asking you to do is project what might happen in the organization and where you might go logically from there. The fifth step is the learning and evaluation step. If this were a real-world situation, you would evaluate how effective your solution has been and what other problems might have arisen from that, or sometimes there are new problems that are now solvable based on the new situation. For the case study purposes in this class, you need to tell me how you would evaluate whether or not your solution is working, but you don't have to worry about actually evaluating it. At the end of the case study, you'll find a list of questions. Those are prompts designed to help you think about the case and analyze it. Your group will write your analysis and findings in one 3 to 5 page paper. At the end of the paper, you need to include both a bibliography of any works you cited in the paper. Your textbook should be one of those, but you can feel free to use any other kind of business literature. You can use scholarly literature, any other kind of research that you find helpful. And a journal page showing the breakdown of group and individual work that went into the project. This whole process is easy to do if you think about it in an organized way. So let me give you another model. You can also think about it this way. First, you're going to define the problem. And that means, for purposes of the case study, not Dennison's problem, but your group's problem, your group's issue that needs to be solved. So you are doing this case study. You need to figure out what exactly that is, what exactly that you're trying to do and accomplish. Next, you're going to define the work. You're going to assign specific tasks to each individual group member and make them accountable for his or her part of the project. Third, I recommend that you do a jigsaw learning approach where each group member gets their part and then comes to the table, the virtual table, and teaches the others about his or her findings for their individual piece of the overall task. That way, the group has a better understanding of the issue and task as a whole. Next, you're going to compile the data into one document. You're going to put it all together, everyone's solutions, everyone's ideas, and you're going to put it in a central place. You're going to use Google Docs, you're going to use Moodle, you're going to use something that you can share a file, that you can comment, you can edit, you can make changes. Everyone is going to have a piece of this. You're going to give each person a chance to critique the document. And each of you needs to remember that it is your grade. The group does not get necessarily the same grade. So if you want a part of the group's grade, you'd better put in your share of the work. Your group members will not carry you on this. And then finally, you're going to submit the assignment. Once everybody's happy with the document, one person needs to submit to the assignment link on Moodle. And you are done. The due date is listed on the Moodle assignment. Don't wait until the last minute to start this. And, as always, let me know if you have questions or problems, because that's what I am here for. I'm looking forward to seeing how you use your skills and talents as communicators to help the Dennison Corporation accomplish their goals, and how you work together to ace the project. Thanks for listening, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Have a wonderful break. Let's finish up the semester strong. Let me know if I can help.